What's going on, guys? I wanted to address a question that just came to me in a live stream. Now, this is a question for Diablo Immortal players who are fairly new to the game. People that may still be progressing, maybe not even have reached max level yet. Now, clearly we are way beyond that in our account right here, but that doesn't mean that I can't guide people who are new to the game. Let's get ourselves inside of the world and talk about some of the issues that people have as they try to progress. Now, think about it when you were new to the game, or if you're a new player to the game right now. We've gotten stuck at things, sections of the game where you just can't beat a boss, you can't beat one of the zones, and you continuously die. And you get frustrated because you're like, I just can't get past this worm boss. That's what actually someone was saying to me in the live stream, that they couldn't beat the worm. Now, I don't exactly know what worm they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about the final zone, the final battle, that big worm that you fight. It may be that. And that was difficult for me too when I was lower level. Now, I think back to when I first started playing Diablo Immortal, right? And my first playthrough ever in the alpha, before the game came out, I was playing as the Demon Hunter. And I remember getting to a stage inside of, I don't even remember what zone it was, but I was stuck and I could not beat a boss. I eventually beat this little boss zone, and it wasn't anything crazy, but it took me like 7 minutes to beat this one boss. And they continuously were regaining health and I just couldn't do it. And I realized something that I hadn't done that was imperative to be able to take down some of these bigger bosses, and that is equipment and gear slot upgrades. This is huge when you're trying to get further inside of the game, and this is something that a lot of our newer players don't know or don't do. So let's take a look right here. As you can see, I have all of my gear. These are all legendary gear items right now, and as you can see, they're all ranked up to rank either 14 or rank 15. Now, as a new player inside of the game, you're probably not going to have many legendary pieces at all, but that does not matter, and it does not impact how you upgrade. Something that's really important to know is inside of the game, when you upgrade a piece of gear, as you can see, this headpiece, whether it be a legendary piece or not, is upgraded to level 14. We have a chest piece also upgraded to 14. We have a shoulder upgraded to level 15. What I actually upgraded, my friends, is the slot that that weapon or that piece of armor is in, not the actual weapon or piece of armor. So assuming that you're brand new and that you don't have any legendary gear, or even if you do have all this legendary gear, if you rank this up to a rank 2, and then you replace it with a new piece of equipment, that equipment will automatically be rank 2. Same for rank 3, 4, etc. So for me, I have rank 15 primary piece of equipment and a rank 15 shoulder piece. If I were to say, oh, I want to use this piece of gear right here, if I want to swap this in, it would instantly be the same level as the piece that's in that gear slot, because you don't actually upgrade gear inside of Diablo Immortal, you upgrade the slot in which the gear sits. So many people don't know this, and I know that this is something that is important for everyone to progress, but new players don't know it and they find themselves stuck inside of the game. Now, there's a lot more depth to this. If you want to upgrade a piece of equipment, you need to go to the blacksmith. So let's do this right now. You're going to go visit your blacksmith and you're going to go to services. For services, you could salvage things, which actually I don't need any of this equipment, so I will salvage it. It'll give me enchanted dust and some scrap materials. Those are what you need to upgrade things. So in the beginning, when you want to upgrade a piece of gear, it's very inexpensive, right? You have to use some scrap materials, you have to use some enchanted dust, and a little bit of gold. You hit upgrade and you upgrade to the next level. It's pretty easy. And if you don't have enough of the enchanted dust, you can just come right on over here and you could visit this person, the smithing materials, and you could trade in your scrap materials. Here, let me, can we do this? Yes, see over here, I'll move myself. You could basically use the scrap materials to buy a certain number of enchanted dust, Boom, I just purchased a few of them, and now it's all good. Everything is good in the world. Let's go back to the blacksmith because, well, that's all we needed to go there for, was to get a little bit of gear. Services, we're going to hit the upgrade button, and right here, I would use the scrap materials that I have, and I would use the enchanted dust that I have to do the upgrade with some gold. Now, when you start talking about legendary pieces of gear, you will also need glowing shards. You can get these randomly throughout the game sporadically. It doesn't happen very often. Or you get one glowing shard per any time that you destroy or any time that you get rid of a piece of legendary equipment that you don't need. That's a duplicate or that is lower level than what you currently have. So when you go to salvage, as I just did those other items, if there's a legendary piece of gear that you don't need, you can salvage it. And with that, you will unlock one of these glowing shards. In the beginning, I don't believe you need any glowing shards to go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. But as you start getting higher and higher, as you can see right here, if I want to go from rank 14 to 15, I will need 18 of these glowing shards. This means I'll need to salvage 18 pieces of legendary gear, any legendary gear, to get this. Upgrading these gear slots, these equipment slots, will give you much more power that you need so you can further progress. Now, we also have slots on here that are for your secondary gear. These are your set items. These are the green ones that are over here on the left-hand side. And these can also be upgraded, but they're upgraded in a different way. So if you take a look right here, we have our shepherd and architect. Now, if you get 2 of these pieces together, you'll be able to get some of these bonuses, these buffs. I used to have them, and I actually, so right here, War Rags of Shalbas, I increased my primary attack by 15% because I have 2 pieces of this set. One right here, and the other one, where is it? Right here. All right. So you want to kind of get these in pairs. They're not the easiest to get. You primarily, or really can only get these from either crafting them or most potently from dungeons. If you run dungeons over and over, you will get the green beam of light into the sky. Now, upgrading these. How do you upgrade these? It's different than how you upgrade your legendary gear or your primary gear. So if you come over here to upgrade at the blacksmith, you're going to come on over here and you'll notice, oh, I need the same scrap materials, but I also need enigmatic crystals. What are enigmatic crystals and how do I get them, you ask? Well, one way you can get them, which I will be very honest with you, is a way I've never done, is here in the same shop. You could buy them, but it costs 4,000 scrap materials for one enigmatic crystal. This does not sound good to me. I don't like it. I've never done that. But the main way that you do this is from Elder Rifts. So we're going to come right over here. We're going to navigate to the Elder Rifts. You should be running these Elder Rifts every day as you progress throughout the game. As you progress, you're going to be able to do harder and harder challenge rifts. I'm sorry. Was I saying Elder? I think I was saying Elder Rifts. Elder Rifts are right here. You don't want to do Elder Rifts. They don't give you what you're looking for, the crystals. You want to do them for other reasons, not for that. This challenge rift, though, as you can see, I'm on level 162. You earn the enigmatic crystals from completing these. And every 5 levels, you get a large amount of them. So right now I'll get 35. When I get to level 163, I'll get 35. When I get to level 165, I'll probably get more like 150 of these. This is what you need to upgrade your secondary gear or your set items. So it's important that you kind of grind through your challenge rifts every single day so you can get these crystals, and then so you can go ahead and get those upgrades so that you could progress and get stronger. But there is one more way that you could enhance your gear so that you could be strong enough to be able to take down those bosses that when you get into these worlds, you kind of just find yourself stuck. And this is from your regular gems. I'm not talking about legendary gems right here. I'm talking about your basic run-of-the-mill regular gems. And if you come on over here to the jeweler, when you go to services, you'll notice that all of your secondary gear has gems inside of it. These are gems that you just get throughout playing, and you get them from dungeons, you get them from you can run and find them really anywhere, but mostly it's going to be from hidden lairs and dungeons and parties of 4. Notice right here, I have an empty slot in this piece of gear. I can actually add a gem inside of there. I can go with the armor, the sapphire for armor penetration, or an aquamarine. It takes a blue type of gem. I'm going to go here and I'm going to add that in, and there we go. I'm going to see, can I upgrade it? I don't have what it takes to upgrades, because you need to basically upgrade gems to build up in gems. But if you have your secondary gear, all these slots, and they don't have gems in them, and if the gems in them have not been upgraded, well, then you haven't been progressing the way that you could. Same thing with legendary gems. These are a lot more difficult to get. You have to run rifts with crests to get these types of things, but you can get them. That's probably next level. If you understand legendary gems and how to handle these in your primary gear, then you probably already know the tips that we've been talking about here today. But those are 3 tips that you can use to really just kind of upgrade your account and progress your account. Now, if you want to know how powerful you are, if you had a high enough combat rating to take on the next hell level, if you're yet at Paragon, or a boss in the Helliquary, you can come on over to attributes, and you're going to click on more attributes, and right underneath my face, which we'll pull this right down here, you will see the combat rating. Your combat rating basically defines how far you can go inside of the game, what hell levels and hell difficulties you can engage in, what Helliquary bosses you can fight, and essentially how strong you can be. The higher your combat rating, the stronger you are. Honestly, it's all basically revolves around combat rating. 6,385 is a pretty decent combat rating for the level that I'm at inside of the game. There are some stronger, there are a lot weaker, but your combat rating is essentially what we want to strengthen. You do this by upgrading your gear, upgrading your secondary gear, upgrading your normal gems. And of course, there are other ways to do this inside of the game, but these are some of the ways that can help you progress through some of the bosses that you may possibly be stuck on at this point in time. Hope you guys found this useful. Hope this guide is good for some of you newer players. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for everything Diablo Immortal. That'll be good.